Your Excellencies, Martin Schulz, President of European Parliament, Jerzy Buzek, former President of the Parliament, Hans Pottering, former President of the Parliament, our dear friend Yuli Edelstein, Minister of Public Diplomacy and Diaspora of the State of Israel, members of European Parliament, members of European Commission, members of the European Jewish Congress, distinguished and honorable survivors. As President of European Jewish Congress, I would like to express my gratitude to our partners in this important and meaningful event. I also wish to express my personal congratulations to our dear friend, the new President of European Parliament, Martin Schulz, and to thank him for his patronage of this event. This is the third year we, the European Jewish Congress, are holding this event together with European Parliament, and together we're working to make International Holocaust Remembrance Day a permanent fixture in the European Parliament calendar. I want to thank President Schulz in particular for his contribution to this effort. International Holocaust Remembrance Day is fixed on a day of the liberation of Auschwitz, the largest Nazi extermination camp. This is a place so dreadful, so far beyond our earthly descriptions of horror, that it was described by Holocaust survivor and writer Yichel Dinur as a different planet, which he called the planet of the ashes, and it was really a planet of evil. We remember very well our millennium European dogmas, ignoranta affectata and tabula rasa. It is our human nature to distance ourselves from evil, to avoid its confrontation, to use the filter of our human memory to protect ourselves and distance ourselves from it by retaining our memories of the good and limiting our memories of the evil and painful. I will never forget my first visit to this horrible place, Auschwitz. I was accompanied by a lady, a survivor of the camp. The picture was really surreal. Birds were flying around us and singing. The place was all green and the sun was shining. I asked the survivor what she was feeling visiting this place. She told me, "I am trying to feel the place, but I cannot. In the Auschwitz I remember, there were no birds, as there was no green and roots for them to eat, as we, the prisoners, ate any kind of grass that had the courage to grow in this deadly place, a place without sun and without soul." I thought to myself how much better it is for her, how much better it is for all of us to keep our memories and images of this kingdom of evil limited to its own different planet. How natural and understandable it seemed to me now that my father, the Red Army soldier during the war, who suffered terrible starvation and bloody battles, who was wounded and handicapped, and saw these camps of death close as a liberator, never spoke of these memories and never said a word about them at home. But thinking about this again, I understand how dangerous it is for humanity as a whole to do so, to downgrade such experiences only to some different planet. We have learned only too well how that different planet is not a different planet at all, but exists here on Earth. And if we don't remember it, and don't study it, and don't learn about it, we cannot learn from it. We can never be confident, we can recognize it and stop its emergence in time, before it's too late, before the next planet of the ashes appears. We at the European Jewish Congress, the Jewish communities of Europe, who are rebuilding beautiful communities all around Europe from the ashes of destruction, took upon ourselves a mission not only to remember and commemorate the Holocaust, but to take practical steps to ensure that this darkest chapter in history would be remembered, its lessons learned, and preventive steps to avoid its repetition would be implemented. To that end, we joined forces with the European Council of Tolerance and Reconciliation, and together with the European Commission, initiated the establishment of a research and educational center dedicated to research human rights and phenomena of racism, xenophobia, and anti-Semitism, and especially the necessary convergation of tolerance and security. This center of secure tolerance will not be simply an academic center researching theory, but an active and dynamic center that will provide legal tools for democratic countries of the European Union to protect themselves against such intolerance and against other such threats that endanger freedom and democratic values of these countries. This center will also teach and train opinion leaders and executives of the EU institutions and member governments on topics of tolerance and reconciliation, to ensure these leaders always remember that somewhere exists the different planet, that we are forever committed to never again give it any place to emerge on the face of the earth. I wish to express our deepest gratitude to President Barroso for giving his patronage and support to this important initiative. This year, we are also marking the 50th anniversary of the trial of Adolf Eichmann, one of the architects of the Nazi death machine who was brought to justice in Israel. I had a personal privilege of meeting General Zvi Malkin shortly before he passed away in New York. General Malkin was one of the Mossad agents who caught Eichmann in Argentina and brought him to justice in Jerusalem. General Malkin showed me the gloves he had worn to avoid touching Eichmann, as he told me he didn't want even to touch this horrible creature who had sent millions to their deaths. Sometimes we don't have the privilege not to deal with evil. Sometimes we don't have even the privilege to wear gloves. Today, we look to the east, to Iran, and we face again a new regime of evil that abuses its own citizens, that threatens to annihilate a democratic state, the only state of the Jewish people, and that threatens world peace and the very destruction of Western civilization. We dare not to delude ourselves, imagining that this kingdom of evil is somehow far away on another planet, or will just fade away. We cannot afford to ever again lose our own planet. We must act wherever or not we can protect ourselves with gloves. Especially today, in the special event of memory, I wish to applaud the European Union for its historical, courageous decision of yesterday to take finally very real action to lead the world's effort to stop the Iranian threat. The danger of non-proliferation regime of nuclear weapon created by Iran is the danger to Europe and the world, much bigger than undervalued in 1920s and 30s Nazi danger, which killed later last century 6 million Jews and 44 million non-Jewish Europeans. This is an honorable policy promoting this planet's peace and safety. I wish to thank you again, President Schulz, for your partnership and leadership. I wish to thank you all for coming here today. Nobel Prize holder Isaac Zinger said, "Nazi wanted the power to be the law." We say today in European Parliament home, the law should be the strongest and dominating power in Europe, included, of course, the law of secure tolerance. Thank you.